Are there any prerequisites to children who want to take part? What do they need?
Well, they just, in January every year, we put posters up in all the townships and ask all the children to register. And the first 350 children at each centre, it's first come, first served. You know, it's all about budgets. It's hard being a non-profit. We have to raise every cent ourselves in South Africa. And in the early days, you know, we'd approach people and say, oh, but don't you get all your money from the Biehls or America? No, we get nothing from the Biehls. I mean, you know, the father, as I said, passed away, and so now we had to make it on our own, and we have, but it's hard work. So it's approaching corporates, businesses, individuals, and we try and raise at least 6 million a year, because with that 6 million, with 2,000 children, we can then put the children through, because it costs us 250 Rand per month, per child, to come to class every day, a meal, transport, we take them on a camp. And how we've managed to do that is because we run it like a business. So every cent that a donor gives us, whether it's a private individual or a corporate or business, goes on the child. So, you know, low costs, we don't pay high admin, we had free rental, photocopiers, and wherever we can, we keep it low, and then the money that comes in is properly accounted for, transparent, credible. And that's how we've managed to do it. So if we raise more than that, which we always try, I'll take on more kids, I can do more with the kids.
Now you mentioned those two young boys who have dedicated their lives to working with the youth. What's it like to see them working with the youth? What's their story?
To me, it's a blessing. I am so blessed. I thank God every day that Ntobeko and Easy are on my team. When I took over in 2006, Ntobeko was just a driver and a clerk, and I could see that immediately this guy had such wisdom and insight. He was a leader. So I grew Ntobeko and got him a lot of coaching and training, and he's now the program manager of all these 2,000 kids. He's got 100 staff under him. Wow. He's like a flower that's blossomed, you know, to 2015, and he's just doing such amazing stuff. And when I see them with the staff and the facilitator and the children, I just get so blown away, because even Easy's not a manager. We can't all be leaders. You know, imagine everybody was a manager. We could never get any work done. Easy is out there with the kids. He's teaching them discipline. He's taking them to diving, and he's making sure they behave well. They say thank you. They, you know, do everything well. And I'm just so, I want the world to know that there is forgiveness. You know, you cannot believe how many people I meet who say to me, it's impossible. I don't believe those parents genuinely forgave. No ways could they forgive the men who killed their daughter. I met Linda and Peter, and I know Linda well. Her and Peter genuinely forgave them. And I always say, if you can't forgive, you can never move forward. If Linda and Peter hadn't forgiven them, they would have been still in jail. They wouldn't have been daily working with kids, changing these kids' lives. I wouldn't have been blessed to work with them. That my other 100 staff wouldn't have. Linda and Peter wouldn't have been able to move forward, because Linda got so much joy out of these young guys. So we all need to be able to forgive. How many people in life can't even forgive a parent who did something to them, or a brother who took 10,000 Rand from their parents and never repaid it, or a friend who was horrible to them or rude? You know, we must learn from that. So the Amy Biehl story is of forgiveness, reconciliation with these young boys, and then restorative justice as opposed to retributive justice. Now, you can't release everybody from jail, obviously. There's a lot of sick people that can never be released back into society. That we understand. But if you assess it and give people a chance, look what can become of them. Ntobeko and Easy, for me, are two of the most wonderful men who, firstly, respect their wives. Now, you know, we live in a country where there's abuse of women. Actually, in this month, we're talking about 16 days of activism. Ntobeko and Easy are the most wonderful husbands. They can be such an example. They're actually amazing fathers. Ntobeko's got 3 daughters. Easy's got 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. You cannot believe what good fathers these guys are. They are an inspiration to how fathers should act. And then on top of that, daily they're working with the kids. Now, I say that's what is possible. Never say never. Be able to forgive, be able to reconcile, be able to do things. So much good has come out of Amy's death. Amy was a bright young girl, 26, in the prime of her life, and it was a tragedy that she had to die. But so much good has come out of that. And what makes me happy is with Tobacco, with Easy, with Afifa, my Chief Operations Officer, Michelle, PR Events, Joanna, all my facilitators, coordinators from Zukizwa to Ayanda, the various programs, we are daily honoring Amy's legacy through the kids. Amy is alive because we're able to change these kids' lives. Our philosophy now is together changing children's lives.
Have Easy and Tobacco, have they been able to move on from Amy's death?
Yes. They will tell you that it was terrible what they did. They obviously regretted it. Once they met the parents, it was once they went through the TRC. We must never forget the power of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission as a process. And even Northern Ireland has used a similar example with young boys who were constantly going to jail and committing crime. They decided to use a similar process, getting the victim and the offender together. And it halved the number of reoffences by young boys in Northern Ireland from a similar process. So that process happened, and it was only once they realized the parents genuinely forgave them that they were so humbled, and they had to move on from that. As they often tell me, they couldn't then regret it for the rest of their life. They had to move on and do something good with it. And that's what they did. So they are doing well. They are working tirelessly with the kids. But obviously, it's in their past. You have to put things in your past. You can't forever be focusing on what you did wrong. You've got to now focus on the positives. And that's, I think, what they've done. They've been able to move forward by dedicating their life to the youth.